Emma and he's Stu, and these are our three little explorers.
If you're new around these parts, then we release weekly vlogs about our full-time work and travel life as we explore the world. We are a world-schooling family currently on the journey of a lifetime as we experience Morocco van life, and we take our little gang on a nomadic tour. We left Devon in the UK and drove through Europe to catch the ferry to Africa. So far, we've been having a truly incredible time with the wonderful and friendly Moroccan people. Our mission for this trip was to take our 3 children and let them walk barefooted across the Sahara desert.
We think these kinds of experiences are the best way to learn and understand our big, beautiful world and the different people living in it, by being there and seeing it.
We have had an emotional journey so far with some big highs and some very big lows. But this is all part of Morocco van life and taking a motorhome to Morocco. As with every adventure, it comes with some risks.
In this Morocco vlog, we finally arrive at Ouazzazate, the gateway to the Sahara Desert. We check out Aït Benhaddou and see the film set for Gladiator. We then travel across one of the most incredible landscapes we have ever seen to reach the Erg Chigaga Desert in the Sahara and ask ourselves, was it really worth it? After having a fab time in Marrakesh, we really recommend it if you're thinking of travelling to Morocco. We now had to drive through the Atlas Mountains. It was stunning, and we finally felt like we were getting to see the real Morocco that everyone keeps talking about. The landscape really started to change once you were through those mountains.
The first stop on our leg to the Sahara is Ouazzazate, which is known as the gateway to the Sahara Desert. We parked up on the outskirts of the city in a tranquil little campsite called Bivouac Lot of Stars, which was down a really tricky track. I don't think Betty was looking forward to going back out up that slope. So we've just parked up in Ouazzazate, and as is always the way, when we get parked up, it's absolute carnage in here and everything falls off. And the children are getting better at putting their stuff away, but we end up with like stuff everywhere, especially if it's like a real mountain road. Stuff falls off shelves, and yeah.
This place was incredibly friendly and really relaxed. You pretty much go and find a pitch where you like and you're good to go. The facilities were okay, some of the toilets were still being built, and there was also a swimming pool that was under construction. So maybe come back next year and it'll be amazing. The family who owned the place were the best bit. They welcomed us with tea and snacks when we arrived. We even had the opportunity to give our second EcoFlow solar panel a whirl.
So this is one that we bought a while ago, and we didn't actually have the connection for it going into the EcoFlow, but we've sorted that out now. So this is the first time we've needed to use it because we're kind of anywhere where there's no electricity. So that one is one of the flexible ones that will pump in quite a bit of solar. Actually, it's 400 watt panel, so it's a decent sized panel. And we've also got our 400 watts on the roof. But where we're sat at the minute, there just seems to be a bit of sort of palm tree fronds are in the way over the top of the roof. So yeah, so we'll see how we get on. We have to move the panel a couple of times, I'm sure, today. But the plan is today is to sort of chill out here. You know, we've got washing in at the minute. They've got some machines on this this campsite, so yeah, we're gonna have a bit of a utilitarian day. So we're about to tackle the slope that was pretty tricky getting into. Just seen a bus get in, or go out, sorry, and it was a little close on the back, so this could be interesting because I think we're going to be pretty close as well. Hopefully we don't have to reverse up, because I don't fancy the idea of reversing up there all the way down that pretty tricky drive. So yeah, hopefully it's going to be a case of we go up, we get lucky, we get out. Happy days.
Now he's got to avoid a tree and then get this next bump. And hopefully that will also go. Okay.
Our plan was to head to the famous Aït Benhaddou village the next day. If you've seen films like Gladiator, which you fell asleep through, Jewel of the Nile, classic, or Lawrence of Arabia, you may recognise this location. It's a remarkable caravan village that used to link the Sahara to Marrakesh. The original village is made of earth and clay and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And I'm sure, although not that I know because it's not been released yet, Gladiator 2 has been using some of the areas in this region. So Ouazzazate, there's done a lot of filming there. I know they've been based there in the film studios there. Aït Benhaddou has also been used as one of the potential sets. Wow, look at this. Wow, Ridge, where are we going?
In a dark tunnel.
In a dark, dark tunnel down a dark, dark street.
The Qasr has been fortified since the 11th century, although the current buildings are likely to have dated from the 17th century, constructed in the same earth and clay techniques.
How are the air conditioning pants getting on?
They're alright, they keep flapping open, so it's lovely.
Oh, you love it, don't you? Hey? Just trying to get some extra views, that's all, eh? Flapping your trousers open. It was so hot. We were definitely hitting the 40s at this point. The village did offer plenty of shade throughout, but those moments in the sun were a little unbearable, weren't they? So there's not actually much at the top here. There's this kind of sort of wooden / mud structure there, but what there is up here are some pretty amazing views, aren't there, kids?
And rocks.
And rocks that you can put other rocks on, rock stacking. What a fascinating place though. We even managed to get a sneaky look at one of the sets of the upcoming Gladiator 2 film. I am Maximus Decimus Meridius. Are you not entertained? Yeah, sorry about that.
It was really worth the trip out from Ouazzazate. We were a little bit concerned about the roads getting here, especially in our Betty. For any of you looking to come to the Qasr in a motorhome, then don't worry, as with most roads in Morocco, they were absolutely fine, and there were really convenient park-ups for the day on the outskirts of the village.
Time to get back on with driving to the Sahara. We had about 300 kilometres left to go to reach Mhamid, so we had a bit of a journey ahead of us.
Planned on making a quick stop in Agdez to stop over for the night. We found this beautiful little stop off at the end of the town, but we had to tackle another trecky track to get up to the park-up. Once you were in though, it was like a little oasis in the desert.
The camp in Tansift was a terrific little stop. They had really good sanitary facilities, some of the best we've seen so far. The electrical supply was pretty reliable and it also had okay Wi-Fi, which was like the usual sort of coverage. There was drinking water available and toilet emptying. The only downside was there was no grey waste emptying, but this wasn't a deal breaker. Saeed and his family were really attentive and they even delivered complimentary bread in the morning. Great stop off for very cheap prices. Thanks, Saeed.
Onwards towards the desert, we were making one final quick pit stop before reaching Mhamid, and this was the city of Zagora. This is a natural stopping point when travelling to the Sahara from Ouazzazate, as the road breaks here for Mhamid, where you can travel to Mazouga. This was our first town night park-up, so we were going off-piste tonight. We were planning on staying outside the mosque and opposite an army barracks, so it should be okay.
Upon arrival, we got a little bit swamped. There was a guy pretending to be a guardian who asked for 10 dirhams to stay. We paid this, and then another fella came over and explained that the spaces outside the mosque were gratis and he wasn't a guardian but a beggar. So we got done over. But it wasn't a lot of money, and if he needed it, then fair play to him. So we've just been chatting to our friend Omar. Not that one. He was the guy that was sort of half chasing away beggars around where we parked up because they were trying to rip us off, and also giving us some pointers. He wants us to come to a shop basically, which we'll go to a shop, we'll go check it out. But anyway, he pointed us down to this kind of authentic market, like a local market. So we're gonna have a little wander in now. But yeah, it looks pretty local, no tourists here, that's for sure. What are you saying, Rivs?
People are just staring at me.
Well, that's because we stand out a little bit. But do you know what? We're having a good look round and we're just checking out some authentic Moroccan culture, yeah?
Aubergine.
How much for 3? No,
Just 3
Oh,
cucumbers.
4 dirhams.
4
dirhams.
dirhams. Okay, perfect.
And something else?
Maybe we just look out.
Just I want to translate because I want to go.
Oh, no, that's fine. Yes, thank you.
So much.
No, they're chili peppers, Daddy.
Peppers, capsicum.
We got
Okay, this is a bit of a pivoting moment for us here. I mean, this is super cheap compared to the supermarkets that we've been hitting up, and even the markets as well, like the kind of main markets you'd see in the towns. This is very cheap. So fruit and veg wise, if you can try and find the local markets in where you're staying, then that's definitely the way to go, because we're paying, you know, 30-40p for a kilo of veg here. It's absolutely amazing. So well done, Omar, you've saved us quite a fortune. We'll have to go and spend it in his shop though. Go spend it in his shop though now. That's the only downside.
So after a successful excursion to the Zagora market, we headed back to Omar's shop and to get an early night outside the mosque.
Where are we going tomorrow, buddy?
the desert.
The desert. You excited?
Yeah, and with the real sand.
Real sand, yeah. So we've got one more day before we get to the main bit of the desert, or one bit we're going to. So hopefully what we're looking for tomorrow, what's on the agenda?
Sand.
Sand dunes, yeah. This is it now. Time to get into the proper Sahara. This was a real goosebump moment driving through the landscape. Everywhere you looked, you just had spectacular views. Good job the roads were pretty good, as it meant you had time to enjoy those desert vistas. We had one final mountain range to break through, but once you got through them, the sand dunes started to appear. The campsite we were staying at was the camping Hamada du Draa, which was through the town and over the bridge on the outskirts. The Hamada du Draa is a great campsite if you are travelling on to the Chigaga Dunes. The campsite has really generous pitches. They are sandy mined, but as it's so dry, they were fine just to drive on. The toilet facilities were okay, nothing special, but they were clean and tidy. And there was a really fantastic swimming pool, which the kids absolutely enjoyed, and was a relief from the searing heat. There was also a fully stocked bar where you can grab an alcoholic drink if you want. And the staff were really friendly and brought us in for tea and snacks upon arrival. They do offer tours of the desert from the reception, but price-wise we paid 240 dirhams a night, which we thought was pretty reasonable for what you get, although you do have to pay for the swimming pool. We also had a couple of extra guests staying with us at the campsite. Some camel spiders. This little guy was hiding in the floor rug outside Betty when it was unravelled. He was okay by the kids and Em as long as he kept his distance. Then, just when we thought we couldn't get any worse, we lifted up our rug and found Mummy hiding under there. She was not okay by the kids and I. I think they actually get a really bad rep. There were some horrific horror stories about them during the Gulf War. Allegedly they would scream and run at you to attack you. Also, there are stories from the desert folklore about how they would attack and eat camels. Whilst the screaming, attacking and eating camels part seems to be nonsense, They will run towards you if exposed to the sun, as your shadow provides them with some needed refuge. And like our friend here who was digging to hide away from the scorching sun. Pretty cool, am I right?
Pretty gross, more like. So it's time to head into the sand dunes. We can't drive Betty to the Chigaga Dunes as, well, it would be impossible and we would probably only last 2 minutes. So we were going to need to enlist the help of some friendly Moroccans to get us across the last 45 kilometres of our nomadic tour. We didn't book our tour through the campsite as we found the prices to be a little bit expensive. So we booked our tour through a lovely bloke we met in town. It's legit, don't worry. Larby. He runs the Sahara Desert Nights company based in the town, and he was offering a really reasonable price deal for us to take the Sahara Express to the dunes. It cost us 1,300 dirhams for the 5 of us, not including lunch, but it did include refreshments.
Salam, our driver, a man of very few English words, actually just very few words, full stop, was going to be our guide and rally driver for the day. It's amazing to see these guys in action, as they know the way to the desert with no sat-nav, compasses or road signs. They just go on instinct and trails alone. Legends.
We made a quick stop off for some photos and had a look at the wares of the nomads.
The wind was really going for it now, and the sand was just blasting us constantly. The first proper stop on our tour was to a Berber nomad camp. I mean, we had to stop here. We're the nomaders, aren't we? We got to see how the Moroccan nomads lived and how their way of life has persisted through modernisation and changes to the climate of their natural environment. They were really welcoming and managed to squeeze in a quick cuppa with the elder. We even got to try some Berber pizza, or tabadet. This is bread filled with meat, in our case goat, vegetables and spices. It was really good. Sky was a big fan of the tea. Our next stop was the oasis before the Chigaga Dunes. Right, we're here at the oasis, just on our very primitive toilet stop.
Not easy for ladies.
No, they didn't make it easy for ladies. It's kind of like a posh French toilet. Well, I say posh. So we're going to go and have some lunch before we head into the desert. I think it's going to be a bit too hot to go to the Chigaga Dunes now, so what we do is we just chill here for a few hours, and then when it's a bit cooler, then we can head up and get ourselves into the desert.
We also had an uninvited guest for tea.
Just had our sugar nicked by a very hungry goat.
She got out the gate.
I think it did manage to eat about 10 sugar cubes. It's going to be pretty wild in a minute. Right, so we're just about to leave now. It's 4:30, so looks like the heat has died down a little bit, and Salam is ready to rock and roll. You in, buddy?
Yeah.
All ready to go?
The Erg Chigaga Dunes are in an area of approximately 35 kilometres by 15 kilometres, right next to the Moroccan-Algerian border. They are the largest and wildest erg in Morocco. They remain significantly less accessible than the Erg Chigaga of Mazouga, so they offer an untamed view of the Sahara Desert.
The dunes were truly spectacular. These were real goosebumps moments. We were totally blown away by the beauty of nature in this place. This is what Worldschooling is all about. Salam gave some great advice, which was to Take your shoes off before you go wandering up the dunes. I'm guessing he doesn't speak any English, it's all in Arabic, but otherwise your shoes are going to get filled with sand. But flip side to that is certain parts of the sand dunes are baking hot, so you have to just be careful which side you walk on. So in the shadows and on the flats are okay, but on the angled slopes towards the sun, they are roasted, aren't they, Sky? It'll be a long way to swim. Go on, Mummy. This is the hardest one. You can do it. Calling international rescue. Here comes international rescue. A big hand. And here we go. They weren't kidding. The Chigaga Dunes are pretty big. There's some walk up to the top. It's pretty spectacular.
Pretty amazing. Hard work getting up here, but worth it.
Absolutely. But you know what? There are things in life that are worth striving for and going through a little bit of pain for, aren't they?
I guess.
Now we're getting all kind of philosophical as we look out upon the Sahara Desert.
Watching the camels go past, looking at all the camps around us.
What you can't see is all the sand going in our eyes.
The wind blowing it up, and every time somebody moves, it all flicking up in your face.
Yeah, but you know, it's amazing though. Truly spectacular and kind of a bit surreal to think that we're here, that we've driven here.
Yeah, I don't think I ever thought I would get to the Sahara Desert.
No.
In Betty, certainly not in Betty, but I didn't think it'd be a place I'd visit, so bucket list.
Yeah, driving here, although granted we didn't drive the last little bit, the last 60 kilometres, Salam did that for us, but you know,
in a very bouncy 4x4. I
think if we'd have taken Betty, it would have been like 4 wheels and an axle, and we'd have been sat on that, bit like the Flintstones. So I just think the whole time we're here, how awesome it would be to have the drone, so we could
and
film.
You're not allowed it.
The shots that you would get from here, because it is just like a sea of sand behind us. It's absolutely spectacular. If you have a look there, it's just, as far as the eye can see, sand, and in the distance, Algeria. So was it really worth all the heartache and stress crossing Europe and into Morocco to get to the Sahara Desert?
If you want the answer to that question, then all you had to do was look at the children's faces when we reached the desert. They were totally blown away by the experience, as we both were. We felt like kids again playing in the sand.
I just kept hearing the Dune soundtrack in my head the whole time. I'm not going to do it for you. And I'm not going to lie, I did have to try a bit of sand walking out while we were here. Although, as you can see, I was pretty rubbish at it and would definitely be eaten by a sandworm. It's got to be one of my favourite moments so far being a parent. Just seeing them look out across the sand dunes into the Sahara Desert. A really special moment. And what it's all about, isn't it? This is what life is all about. Get set, go! This guy's out. Yes! That is a winner!
If you think back to where we were as a family 6 months ago and where we are now, it's mind-blowing. Don't get us wrong, it's difficult at times and it's an expensive lifestyle choice. But it's those amazing moments that make you forget about all the bad times.
So it's not over yet either, as we are going to continue our weekly vlog saga travelling through the Sahara Desert to reach Mzuga, where we've got some really amazing things planned. If you have enjoyed our video, then please drop us a like. It really means a lot to us. And if you want to stick around with us on this wild Morocco van life adventure, then press the subscribe button below. Remember, be there and see it. Ready? Nomaders away.